Welcome, everyone, to the June Engagement Forum of the Veterans Community Action Network of South Central Wisconsin. My name is Kathy Still. I am the president, and I welcome you on behalf of our board of directors. From our board, we've got Keith Lang is our vice president. He's joining us today. And we are very pleased to welcome Jennifer Parra-Nelson from Rogers Behavioral Health. She's going to talk to us today about the Firewatch program, a virtual mental health program explicitly designed for veterans and first responders. We're excited to hear about that program. After that, we'll do our usual updates. We've got some updates to share with you from VetsCAN on what we've been up to lately. VA hospital, today being a federal holiday, our staff from the VA hospital is not joining us. However, Abe sent remarks and information to be shared. So I've got that from him, and also hoping to have the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs on the line to provide updates from their end. So with that, oh, finally, as you see on this on the slide, if I'm sharing it, am I sharing it? I don't think I am. Hold on. Let me share also. So on the slide, you will see our next forum is not until September 18th. Please mark your calendar. We'll be taking July and August off. That's our usual summer hiatus from doing engagement forums, but then we'll be back in September on September 18th and ready to go for fall and future forums, those fall forums. Also, something to note, we are looking forward to planning another in-person event to occur in November. So we did a program similar in last November at the hospital. We're looking to do a different networking event elsewhere and get out in the community. So if you have a recommendation for a great venue, we would love to hear that. Just reach out to us at our email, info@vetscan-wi.org. And now I will turn it over, and we haven't rehearsed this. I'll turn it over to Jennifer for her to share. Do you have slides?
I do, yes, and I can share them.
Okay, and you've got the little thing you can
I have
go
a
ahead and
share button.
Perfect.
Yep, I've spent this first 5 minutes just making sure that I could figure this out. So it's not going to be perfect, but it'll get the job done today.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, can you guys see the slides? Great. All right,
Not
well,
yet.
thank you so. Oh, no?
No, we can't.
Oh, right, here we go.
Perfect.
And are you just, okay, you're seeing. We want to see, are you seeing the actual slides? Or are you just seeing Zoom?
No, I'm seeing slides in the.
Okay, so you're seeing the Firewatch slide. Okay, great.
Yep.
Perfect. So yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I am the clinical director for the Firewatch program, as well as trauma services for the Rogers, for all Rogers Behavioral Health. So we're really proud of this program. And I think it comes at a really great time to add more intensive therapy and also different options to this community. So this is for veterans, active military, and first responders. So we are an intensive outpatient program, which means that we run 3 hours a day. So it's anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week. And it's a 6 to 8 week commitment. And we are virtual, meaning that we can be accessed anywhere with a computer. And we really wanted to make sure that we were as accessible as possible. So that's why the virtual option is the best for us and for hopefully the community that we serve. And of course, we use HIPAA compliant software in order to make sure that everything we do is completely safe. So who is this for? So we have asked a lot of people in our community, fire chiefs, police captains, um, the person who, Dr. Hofung, who helped create this program, certainly put a lot of effort into thinking about the culture that we wanted to cultivate when we thought about this program specifically. So for the first responders, just those 4 points is what we're admitting into this program in particular. So firefighters, police, EMS, paramedics, and 911 operators. And then as far as military service members or veterans, obviously from any of the different branches, but also regardless of discharge status and also regardless of how much time was spent. So it can be non-combat veterans. It can also be, people who were only served a day in the military. They're all welcome here in this space. So we cast a pretty wide net as far as what we treat. So we use an intervention called acceptance and commitment therapy. It's very transdiagnostic. And all that means is that it works for a lot of different symptoms. So we're casting a really wide net. Acceptance and commitment therapy is really cool because it never asks anyone to challenge their beliefs as much as like, how do we have these beliefs and feel the feelings associated with these beliefs and also live a life that we value, right? And that will also fill us up. Because a lot of times there's just a lot of giving of energy. And, we're working on that depletion by, a valued life. So as you see here, there's a lot of different areas, survivor's guilt, even just challenges, being a part of the military, burnout, anger, shame, disgust, self-loathing, suicidal thoughts, trauma, depression, anxiety, withdrawn behavior, and really, the dysfunction that comes with having mental health concerns. So, I think some of the big issues that we see is just, the decrease in the ability to function in everyday life. So those are the types of things that we work on, but we also talk about moral injury. And that's really being a part of something, witness to something that violates your morals, values, or ethical code. And this can be contextual, right? So in one context, you're not violating your moral code, but maybe in another context, it feels different, right? So the transition from military life to civilian life, there can be a lot of cultural concerns that come up. And I think this is where we talk a lot about identity and, what makes up our identity and how to think about ourselves outside of, what we've been through. So, emotions, talking about the pain and working through the pain, learning how to deal with those things. And again, we're never going to challenge what these people coming through the door say, like, I did something wrong. We're never going to say like, no, you didn't. They get to believe what they believe, but we're going to work on looking at different perspectives. We're going to look at how we can still live alongside some of that pain, because this is part of living, right? Is learning how to live alongside of it. So the barriers we see getting in the way of seeking services is stigma. I think especially for our first responders, there's fear of losing their job if, they're diagnosed with depression or anxiety, or if someone finds out that they're getting treatment. Maybe it's not even losing their jobs, but the respect of their comrades. So that certainly is something that we're trying to fight against. I mean, I think just you inviting me here today is fighting against stigma, and I really appreciate that, getting the word out, educating people that, um, being exposed to multiple traumas isn't necessarily an ordinary experience and can require support. And that's okay. That's what extraordinary experiences often bring about. But people feel like a failure, like I said before. There is sort of that dichotomy of, especially with some police officers not wanting to come into a program in the community that they serve because they might see people that they've arrested before, things like that. So that's why being in this group is important. And having this group is important to make sure that we're giving them a safe place to feel like they can be vulnerable. And again, taking time away from job and family. Certainly, we try to be as flexible as possible. Feeling like no one can understand. I think, we really try to understand the culture as much as we can so that there doesn't have to be a need for people to provide context. Just come and share. We understand, right? Like we are getting certifications and we have people. I should have said this at the top, but I'm the daughter of a veteran. So my dad was a Marine, and he often would bring us to places we lobbied for healthcare reform. We marched on Capitol Hill. We marched around my hometown in support of our troops during Desert Storm. So just a lot of areas in which I was exposed as a young person to the plights of the veterans. And certainly my dad instilled that within me. So we're very selective with who we have working within our program. So the current therapist grew up on bases. So he was an Army brat. Our behavioral specialist who helps teach skills, she's a veteran. She was active duty for 8 years, and she was a behavioral specialist when she worked. That was her job in the services. And then our peer support specialist is a veteran as well, and he served 7 years as a medic and did 2 tours. And then, just people who really feel passionate about this population are the people that we put into this program to support. So again, we are people who, either do understand or seek to understand always the culture. And we know that there are a lack of resources, and it seems like resources continue to dwindle a little bit. And oftentimes there's a cost concern. So we're very trauma informed. That word gets thrown out a lot, but as the director of trauma services for the entire organization, I do the trauma informed care training. So it's really important to us to understand how we're talking to people and how we're delivering this program. Again, you'll work with people as unique with unique circumstances. And then the cool thing is that once you're in the Rogers system, there's access to different levels of care. So if somebody comes into our 3-hour-a-day program and needs more support, we can transfer them to a higher level of care. Will it be a fire watch per se? No, but if we think that they need to go to our 6-hour program, which is a partial hospitalization program or PHP, we can work with the PHP person so that they can come to our program for half the day and then go to that program for the other half of the day. We follow these patients. So even if they leave our program entirely and they're still in the Rogers system, we will follow these patients in this demographic through their levels of care so that they're always having someone to connect to that understands what they're going through. And again, we're using evidence-based treatment. So, really using things that we know work, basically. And we know the things that are up here do work. Yeah, and I think the other really cool thing that we do as an organization is we've created our own front door for this program, meaning that if you call our 1-800 number, you will get a guy named Ben. It will be Ben, and Ben will always be answering the phone during his work hours. It is not a random care coordinator. It is not someone who's going to shuffle you to another person, to another person. This is distinctly for our veterans and first responder program, and Ben is trained to be able to talk to the person, assess the person, and create a start date immediately within that first phone call. So that's very new to Rogers, but we knew that we needed a special way for this population to access care. Um, so we didn't lose momentum on that, on their motivation to get care. All right. So that's all I have. Any questions?
So, I'm curious, so how do, um, I guess, what organizations do you work with? Do you obtain referrals from different organizations or service providers, or
Yeah.
how do veterans and first responders, how do they find out about you and your program?
Well, what I'm doing right now is certainly one of the main ways. So we do a lot of outreach activities. I think we've done like 110 in the last 10 months. Whether it's, giving talks or attending events, but we partner with Donna Drews from the VA, and we certainly have a lot of people that we know within the VA system, and we just, check in with them. Also, yeah, we've been going around to different fire stations and talking to firefighters directly. We've talked to fire chiefs, we talked to the peer support. We're just putting ourselves out there as a unique opportunity for this demographic to get the care that they need. And what we're finding, I mean, we knew coming in that this was going to be an underserved population, but we just didn't know how underserved. And that's really what we're finding out, is that um, it really is meeting a need. And we're very excited to do that. That's our mission.
Jennifer, what's the cost of the program?
So we take most insurances. Unfortunately, at this point, we're still in talks with TRICARE because they've switched over. We were in network, and then they
Oh, you're
switched
Tricare
over.
West, yeah.
Exactly. You know it.
And there's been some
Um,
transition issues.
so we're in that transition issue currently. We're working on it. We're working on all of the contracts and, trying to get everything we need so that we can continue to take TRICARE. Um, at this point, we take most other insurances. But I believe, and please do not quote me, I believe it's around like in the 270, 300 a day range. Um, that's, but I mean, we offer scholarship opportunities through our foundation. We can't always get them, there are requirements of financial need, that kind of stuff. But certainly we do everything that we can to try to help the person gain access to care. And if we can't do it, we'll try to work with the patient to get that care elsewhere.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
So I've got a, um, can you give me I'm not familiar with kind of the types of treatment. When you say it's intensive outpatient and it's 3 hours a day, 3 to 5 days a week for
Mhm.
the duration.
Big
I mean,
state. Yeah.
what is a person doing during that 3 hours a day? What is that, individual therapy? Is it groups? Is it
Thank you for asking that. That is group therapy. So again, we're creating a community within this program. So it's all groups. We start out with a check-in group where we talk about, the past evening, checking in how they're feeling today, what are their needs. And then we do the therapy group, which is basically leveraging our intervention. So talking about, different ways to deal with the things and thoughts that we have going on in our mind. And then we have the skills group. So, ways to actively cope when we're feeling really heightened in our reactions or in our emotions, making sure we're giving the tools to them. And then we have a checkout group where it's what are the needs, where are you at, and what are some things that we can do this evening. So basically planning for the evening and ensuring that they're doing the things that that are routine, that are valuable, and that are enjoyable for them, because we know that intervention, right? Just doing those 3 things every night decreases depression greatly and gets people actively back involved with their life. So we're kind of coming at it with a couple different angles. But yes, so that's the general structure of the program.
So is that done then during the day? And I guess I'm kind of wondering, how, you talked about stigma being a barrier, to treatment for some individuals, or how they'll be perceived by their peers, and I'm wondering for somebody that's still active, either active duty or say they're still active, as a firefighter or in law enforcement, or how are they able to, use this therapy or go through this program while they're still, I mean, do they have to take time off work? Are these like daytime sessions, or are they kind of in the evening sessions, even though like where it works around their work schedule, or
Yeah. So it is 8 to 11, so 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. I think we're shifting into 8:30 to 11:30 in the near future, just to align with some of our other programs that are virtual. But yeah, I mean, oftentimes when people are at this level of care, so that PHP, IOP, there's a real issue with functioning. And
oh, okay.
a lot of times, and not all the time, absolutely not all the time, but a lot of times, the people who come through our door typically haven't been able to function at work. So maybe they're on short-term disability. We have people who are active in the military and who were working while they were here, and I think they just worked things out with their boss. I think at this, there's a community in these spaces already, and I think, those above them probably already are aware that this person may need a little bit more support. So I don't know that a lot of our folks is, bosses or leaders weren't already aware. So they've been willing to work with them in this instance, but that's why we're flexible with days of the week too. So we have to have at least 3 days a week just because that's how it qualifies insurance wise for intensive outpatient. But if they can only do 3 days one week and 5 days another week and 4 days another week, that's fine. We'll do what we can to ensure that they're getting some treatment.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions, Molly, Tom, Keith?
But VetsCAN covers a 15 county area in south central Wisconsin. Maybe this is a kind of a dumb question. Have you reached out to all the county veteran service officers?
We continue to try. So, I mean, we opened in September of last year. And like I said, we've done over 100 calls, visits. We have our peer support specialist, who goes out and drives to like rural Wisconsin and meets with the VA up there as much as so yeah, we're definitely working as much as we can with the VA in order to, get the word out and support their efforts in supporting veterans as well. So yeah, we're trying. Yeah.
Last call for questions for Jennifer.
Are you able to send your PowerPoint or your contact information?
Absolutely. I will send it in the chat.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing
Great.
I wanted to say as a retired City of Madison, Wisconsin police officer that helped the City of Madison start the peer support group in 2001 after September 11th.
Mhm.
And knowing Rogers and what you do with the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce, you've been members for, I think, 2 or 3 years now. God bless you. The thing that people don't pay attention to is that peer support aspect is gigantic, because if you want somebody to talk, you need to have somebody sitting next to you. So if we're not doing that, we're not doing our due diligence. So thank you for what you do. And if there's anything we can do to help push that narrative, it's great. Being a cop for 24 years, especially as a crime scene investigator, I pushed it down to the bottom, and then you have to have people that help you bring it to the top. And that's the thing. So, you know, any way we can push your narrative, let us know. But this is great, and we can push this information out to everybody and let people know, hey, you're not alone. The other thing is you have a battle buddy sitting next to you, and that's the big thing.
Yeah.
If I don't want to talk, if I'm sitting next to a buddy who's listening, then I might talk. And that's what we need to do, is push that narrative. So thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm gonna put my information in the chat as well, and please feel free to reach out to me. We would love to come and speak with whomever and provide more information so that they can be distributed throughout.
Tom, you kind of tripped my thought process. I was a parole officer for 11 years in Milwaukee and Waukesha and Janesville. Did a lot of nasty pre-sentence investigations. Jennifer, have you reached out to the Department of Corrections?
I'm not sure that we have. That is something that I will write down.
No, I appreciate that, Keith. I also sit in monthly on the mental health advisory program that's working to try to revise some things here in the state of Wisconsin, Jennifer. With we have Vets Court. Unfortunately, it only works for 52 counties out of 72. And I sit on that monthly, and I kind of listen to what NAMI Wisconsin's got going on and a few other things. Plus, I have contacts at the capital level. I think this would be an opportune time, and thanks for bringing it up, Keith, to kind of maybe give you a soft intro to that scenario and see what we can do to kind of push that narrative.
That would be amazing. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, this is it, right? This is how we connect and we give people the support and help we need. So I'm so thankful.
Thanks, Jennifer. If you see Signet, tell her I said hello.
Okay, I will. I don't see her often, but I'll send her a message.
All right.
All right, great. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
I'm gonna turn my picture off, and then I'll put some stuff in the chat, and then I'm gonna head out, but I appreciate your time.
We appreciate your time, Jennifer. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for sharing.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll move on to the just additional announcements, which are going to be brief today. So, but again, for the benefit of people that are watching the recording of this, I want to let you know that VetsCAN is continuing to grow our network. And some of that is by working with other associations. So we're pleased to announce that we are members of the Wisconsin Veterans Chamber of Commerce. And Tom, it's great. You've always been so supportive of us and at our events. But we are extremely pleased to be part of your team and the Veterans Chamber, which is also too just a growing organization and so connected And Tom, why don't you, I'll give you a minute to make your pitch for the Veterans Chamber and how big that is. And I mean, if you could touch on too, just the number of members, organizations that you're connected to.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks, Kathy. Kathy was at our actual First Call Madison yesterday in Madison, and I thanked publicly, VetsCAN for being a member. The thing with our chamber, we started 10 years ago, and we had probably 15 people that actually paid attention. We're now sitting at over 400 members. We're in 14 different states. Our conference this year is at Lambeau because the Green Bay Packers are members. Our big signature event outside of that this year is going to be the Fisher House, Wisconsin Capital Campaign. So if you haven't been to our website, please go to the events website and look at September 4th in particular. We're helping Fisher House, Wisconsin fire up their capital campaign. They got authorization to build a Fisher House in Madison area. We don't know exactly where it's going to be yet, but I'm sure they're going to let us know when we have the event. But that's the Ronald McDonald House for vets families here in South Central Wisconsin. And I'm trying to get as much traction as we can for that program and for that event. Right now we're sitting around just under $6,000 out of 30,000 we want to make for that icebreaker. But take a look at that and push that out all you can. We're looking for sponsors. We want to fill the room because I think we're going to have U.S. senators there, state senators. We're going to have hopefully the governor there and a few other, high visible people to help push that narrative. Everyone knows what Ronald McDonald House is. Nobody knows what Fisher House is. And that's our big thing. The chamber's not making a dime on this. We don't care. We want to make money for Fisher House. We want to get this going in the right direction. And I'm spending all my sweat equity in the next couple months to push Fisher House, Wisconsin. So if you got any thought process, please let me know. And we're trying to make that a big deal. We have over 400 members right now. We're in 14 different states. And I think, our signature event's at Lambeau on Thursday, October 2nd. If you could come, please do. It should be the biggest event we'll ever have in our lifetime. But VetsCAN, South Central Wisconsin's been a great thing for us, and we're trying to assist you, and you're helping us too. We just need to push the veteran narrative here in the state and see what we can do to make that a broader issue in the Midwest and the nation as a whole. So thanks what you do, and if you got any questions, please let me know.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
what you do, Tom, and for the Veterans Chamber and information about the kickoff event in September. That is on our website, on our calendar of events. It will move up soon to the front page. Right now, it's not on the front page because we're pushing our own VetsCAN stuff. But on our calendar of events, the icebreaker in September is on there and links to all of the chamber's information. Our membership with the Veterans Chamber just builds on other memberships, including Downtown Madison Incorporated. We've also been outreaching to organizations that have veteran-focused programming. Some of those include Porch Light, which provides services and housing, particularly for veterans. Another organization is Stand Down Madison. Stand Down is seeking volunteers for its big event, its Stand Down event in October, where veterans experiencing homelessness will receive essential services. In our conversations with them, it's like that is a volunteer intensive day for those veterans. And again, more information is available on our website, vetscan-wi.org. And it'll link to the stand down webpage and application for to provide volunteer services or other support. So one thing I did want to tease on our VetsCAN update and is that our board recently approved a new program, a quick reaction financing program. We're developing this program to pilot it in 3 counties, in Dane County, Greene County, and
Richland.
Richland. Thank you. With the intent of quickly providing emergency grants of up to $500 to veterans. We're looking forward to working with partners including the VA, CVSOs, WDVA, the National Guard, other VSOs, the legacy VSOs, to make this an effective program. So more to follow. We don't have all the details at this time, but we're really looking forward to developing this program to be an effective way of assisting veterans and hopefully preventing kind of the spiral, the downward spiral effect that can result from a veteran that experiences one thing like a car breakdown, that then can turn into just begin a cycle of poor outcomes. So we're looking forward to that in the future, coming into fruition and getting underway in the future. So I mentioned that with today's federal holiday that the VA hospital staff is not available to provide updates, but Abe Rabinowitz did send some updates that he wanted me to share with you. So the VA National Restructuring Plan remains pending. Public statements from SecVA offer strong support for continuing and continuity of the mission at local VA sites with no disruption to care for veterans. On Friday, that's tomorrow, the Secretary of the VA is holding his first all-employee town hall for VA employees. But Madison VA continues to work on right-sizing resources. This is something that Abe has talked about for months. There are no reported impacts to care delivery and no active concerns with wait times for care. A construction note that Highland Avenue, that construction continues. Phase 2 starts at the end of June. So that's coming up and will include closure of southbound traffic on Highland and the westbound entrance to University Avenue. Their VA is working on messaging to veterans related to that status. Basic message is to expect additional congestion when coming to and exiting from the hospital, and that phase 2 is expected to last approximately a month. He didn't mention if there's a phase 3 then after that, or if phase 2, if that'll be the end of it at the end of July. And I guess we won't know since we don't have a forum then through September. So hopefully by the time he's on in September, it'll be all wrapped up. One thing that Abe wanted me to share in particular, and an important part, is that there have been reports in online that have tried to paint the VA poorly and as engaging in discriminatory practices. VA nationally has strongly disputed the presentation of the story, particularly published by The Guardian. And VA asked for it to be retracted. But the message is that all veterans, eligible veterans, continue to receive care at the Madison VA. There have been no changes in the approach to care that is provided for eligible veterans. And that message has been clearly communicated to employees at the VA hospital and is Abe wanted to ensure that we're aware of that as well. All eligible veterans at Madison VA continue to receive their care. Finally, on the Fisher House, again, continuing to see that forward progress towards the land acquisition, but still not a firm date for the purchase yet. So that's just, we're experiencing that long process in dealing with all of the wickets that need to be navigated when it comes to that acquisition. Some upcoming events, and most of these are also noted on the VetsCAN's calendar of events. Coming up on Saturday, there's a My Life, My Story panel discussion at the Madison Public Library. Unfortunately, I don't have a start time for that. June 27th, the Caregiver Support Resource Fair will occur at the VA hospital in Madison. That's on our website. You can find details there. July 25th is VA Night at the Duck Pond. That's the Military and Veteran Appreciation Night. The Mallards are playing the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders. Game time is 6:30. Gates open at 5:30. Tickets for military and veterans are $5. The checkout code is military25 to get that special price. August 7th, the Purple Heart Hall induction ceremony. And then August 14th, there is another screening of Honor in the Air, a documentary about a Wisconsin pilot who flew in Vietnam and his story. Again, most of these items are on the calendar of events, so go to vetscan-wi.org and click on events to see that entire calendar. There are additional events that are listed on that calendar as well. Those are the updates that I've got or that I've been provided to provide. So Keith or Tom, do you have anything to add?
Nothing here.
Not right now. Thanks, Kathy.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, thank you for following us. And we will see you in September on September 18th. Take care.